Hi, it's Monday, June 18th, and this is our season finale of Strictly Business.
Beautiful day, I'm feeling good. Gonna make some moves. No more sugar, no time to waste, got nothing to lose. Now it's time to move forward. All I can be. So glad to be free. 'Cause I know if I try, no matter how I'm feeling, I can fly high. Ooh, no ceiling. I'll do my best. I ain't gonna stress, 'cause I'm taking care of business. Strictly business.
This is our Fatherpreneur episode where we have our guest fathers on here. We celebrated Father's Day yesterday, and we're just going to give you some information about what they do and how they do what they do. So I'm going to start off by introducing our producer, the man that makes this happen, my husband, the handsome Todd Elliott of Elliott by Design, Toddy Media.
Hello.
And he is a cinematographer, graphic designer. He does the most amazing wedding films. And, of course, he produces the show that you see every week. And we just want to welcome him here.
Well, it's good to be here. I'm on the other side of the spectrum this time. Yeah. No, this is an exciting vision that you have, because it's not over.
Right.
It's like season finale, but it's just the season finale. Yeah, it's a whole lot of work. Whole lot of work. Yeah, but it's very fulfilling to see something come from here to an actual tangible. It's a blessing to be able to produce this, and especially knowing that it means so much to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we get mushy on here.
I got a little,
Don't get mad,
little
don't
stuff
get
on my lip.
mad.
Little
Just a
stuff
little
on my lip.
makeup, it's good. Good for the camera.
All right.
Lost up.
Yeah, but it's good to be here.
So I guess I'm going to introduce my beloved. This is my husband, the man I've been in covenant with for 17 years, almost 18, Corey Johnson, who is the founder of Rock City 48, which is a young men's mentoring program, and also our co-founder of Love Marriage Ministries, which is our ministry for married couples, and my behind-the-scenes cheerleader and hardest worker for my life coaching business, Be Honest Moment. So this is my beloved husband, the man who makes it happen for both of us. I love you.
I appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. Yes, it is cute. That's my cousin.
We family.
We family. Them my cousins.
But no, I truly wouldn't do half of the things I'd do if it wasn't for you. So you're the in-between for both of us. So I appreciate you. Give me another one.
Oh, you get
I got two. I'll try to outdo you.
I got lipstick with mine.
See.
Well, I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce to you guys Mr. Leon Jones. He is the owner of Leon Quality Cuts at 411 Charlotte Avenue. He has been a barber for over 20 years. He has owned Leon's Quality Cuts for about 5 years, and he is also a landlord for over 10 years. So happy belated Father's Day, and thank you for being on the show, Strictly Business.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been 21 years in the barber game, and it's been very good to me. I have 5 on my own in my own place, and yeah, God has been really good to me.
Awesome.
Me next, y'all. I am so excited and honored to introduce my husband, Mr. Eric Franklin. Hey, babe.
Hey, girl. It's your bad self, girl. Go ahead, girl.
So my husband, he's been with the U of R in biomedicine at the University of Rochester for 10 years. He also is a real estate agent at New to You Homes, and he's been there for a year.
But last but not least, he is the founder of Our Rock Love, encouraging marriage and empowering marriages. So, and we've been in that for what, 5 years? We've been in that for 5 years now, going on 6. So that's very exciting. I thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. It's been amazing. And I can't wait for more.
We ain't finished yet. We ain't finished. Thank you for the introduction, my love. Like you said, I've been at U of R for 10 years. Got promoted to clinical engineering. Thank you, appreciate it. Fixing all type of equipment throughout the hospital. I Rock Love, we repping the rock. You could call it Rock Love, increasing the stock. Nothing's gonna stop us. It's our marital passion. Our marital passion. And we do T-shirts for events, sporting groups. Realtor, get your home sold, bought, make it happen. So we do all for the legacy of the Franklins. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hi, everyone. I would like to introduce Rashad Scott, who also is one of our crew members behind the scene for Strictly Business. And Rashad is a 28-year-old creative director of the Renaissance New York. And he is also known as the RNY. He's been involved in multimedia design for over 10 years and has been operating the RNY since 2013. We're glad to have you on this side of the camera, Rashad.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping us out and being here today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having me on set every week. It's a pleasure creating this show with you guys. Big shout out to Todd over there. But yeah, I've been operating the Renaissance New York for 5 years. I started the business my last year of college back in 2013 when I decided that I wanted to work for myself. And when I just got married in October, in November I finally made that step. So it's been about 6 or 7 months now that I've been operating the business full time, working for myself. So
It's cool.
thank you.
Welcome, everybody.
Yes, we welcome each of you. Nice to have company on the set this week.
We will be right back. Welcome back. We're going to start off by just asking our guests a few questions. So we're going to start with Todd. Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? I do multimedia and graphics and film and video and stuff. I do creative work because I've always loved art. I loved art class. That was one of my favorite classes ever, and I knew I was special. Not that I knew I had special abilities in art. Just as a young age, I would think, wow, I love seeing that picture, or I like how that looked. I wonder how they drew it, and then I would say, man, because if I was to draw it, I'll draw it like this and like that, and then next thing you know, I formed it, and I'm like, wow, I did what I thought. I didn't even realize that I could be that creative. So then I started airbrushing, and I started painting on people's clothing and stuff in high school, and for money, and I was like, wow, this is all right. So that just translated into the digital age that we're now in. It's like, well, what's the most recognizable art form? Is digital media, web design, and everything. I wasn't always into that. I was, as you know, me and my music, my music world and the life that I was living, doing music and stuff, and needing to promote the music. We couldn't find anybody to do our website, no one to really do our graphics. Everyone either wanted to overcharge us for something that wasn't a true deliverable or whatever. So, prayed to God, say, Lord, speed up my learning curve with this stuff so I can figure it out and do it myself. And And then it was like art class again. So I was like, hey.
And everything is self-taught.
Self-taught, 100%. Well, I mean, now we have YouTube, but yeah, it's still self-taught because I'm watching people, I'm watching them do it again. Like, oh, I like that picture, or I like that edit. I wonder how they did it, and then, oh, that's how they did it. Yeah, so self-taught, 100% self-taught and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So, Mr. Johnson, with your cute self, tell us a little bit about what you do during the day, because I didn't mention that, and what is Rock City 48, and why was it founded?
What I do during the day, I'm at Leadership Academy, and I work with 7th through 12th grade, helping them with the social emotional piece that they deal with, in a school setting. For a lot of young men, they struggle in the evenings when they go home, and then they translate that energy and they bring it to school with them. So I'm that middle ground to help them make that transition and try to keep them out of trouble, keep them from being suspended or just really making a bad choice. Now, Rock City 48. Before I tell you what it is, let me tell you why Rock City 48. I was born and raised in the city. I seen the ups and downs. Lived on the east side, west side, and born on the west side, moved on to the east side. But, during that transition of me growing up, I never had a real role model, that real solid foundation for me growing up, that person I can really count on who was gonna help me from making bad choices and bad decisions. So, I made quite a few. And, I grew up in a household where, I went through a lot. So by the time I was 14, I was in group homes. I was living with this aunt, this person, that person, and I traveled along the way and did a lot of traveling. And during that course of me traveling, started really looking for what I wanted. I wanted somebody to stand in my corner. I wanted somebody to teach me the skill sets of, what it really and truly means to be a man. Those things I was trying to figure out on my own along the way. And, as I got older, I met my beloved. You see, I had to stop for a minute and really stare at you and get that eye contact. But, and at that point, once we got together and us having children and having sons, and I wanted to leave them with something. I wanted to stop generational curses and show them what it means to be a man and really teach them those skill sets. But it didn't just translate at home. I had to teach that to other young men that, especially that I knew, that were out there that didn't have strong, role models. So that's why I started Rock City 48. Rock City, Rochester City. 48 stands for the 48 months that takes a young man from 9th to 12th grade. So that transition of me being there and having mentors there with them to help guide them, through life.
Yeah.
So.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you. You know the man, you understand the movement. This is not a moment, it's a movement.
Yes.
The difference is that it's sacrifice.
With sacrifice.
So
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Another one.
So, Mr. Leon Jones, I would like to know what inspired you to get into being a barber, and what advice would you give any young man or any young woman who is looking to get into barbering?
Well, what inspired me to be a barber? Kind of was forced into it. I started when I was 14, so it's really been over 30 years I've been cutting hair. My parents moved out to the suburbs, and I couldn't get a haircut every week or as often as I wanted to, so my dad ended up buying me a pair of clippers. He said, you better figure it out. So little did I know it became a blessing. I took to the clippers and I started cutting all my new friends, and I started cutting at the school and after basketball games, and before I knew it, I was the high school barber. And, and that ended up translating into my own business and barbershop, 30 years later. So it's really been a good journey for me, And what would I tell a barber that's wanting to get into the game?
So what would you tell maybe your 14-year-old self or someone who's looking to maybe get
I would say work hard at being very good and be professional as possible. People like professionalism. I don't care if you're in the city, in the hood, or if you're around business people. Everyone wants to be treated with, a certain amount of respect, and you're good at what you're doing, and you treat people how you want to be treated, it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you heard it from Mr. Leon Jones himself, founder of Leon Quality Cuts. And with that, we'll be right back.
Look and feel amazing at Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry. Fashion, beauty, bridal, cinema, television, makeup artist Rosalind Matthew does it all. At Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry, we can take you from ordinary to extraordinary with breathtaking, classic, trendy, sophisticated looks suited to enhance your natural beauty. Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry hosts a lovely atmosphere suited for a queen. Call today for your winning look at 585-415-4509. Beauty for Ashes Makeup Artistry. We see the beauty in you inside and out.
Hi, welcome back to Strictly Business. So, Eric Franklin, hey buddy.
Hey girl. What up?
Hi, so question. Can you tell us a little bit more what you do during the day and then how I Rock Love came about?
During the day, daily bread is I work at the University of Rochester. Just recently started with the clinical engineering department back in November. So it's been 7 months. I Rock Love, the cream, cream of the crop. Actually, I did a video for our 5th year anniversary that Todd recorded. Marital Poem Status, check it out. Marital Poem Status, and in that, I said we repping the rock. You could call it Rock Love, increasing the stock. Nothing's gonna stop us. Not knowing that was the seed that was planted to birth I Rock Love, which we started as a place for women where they could let their hair down and men could roll their sleeves up and just have a good time for the sake of marriage. As far as the apparel part, I always liked being creative. When I was in high school, I had my tux custom. I always wanted to do things. I always wanted to do things my way. I bought the fabric. I was like designing my own shirts with the Burberry fabric and sneakers and all that stuff. And then I had a passion to make T-shirts. And the more I studied and was reading the Word of God, He was giving me creative ideas for marriage with T-shirts. So I just was like, yo, maybe I got something with this. And the name I Rock Love, as you know, it started. And so it's a lowercase I, rock, and then love, because and within marriage, like you can't be about self. You're included, but it's bigger than you. So it's the lowercase I. Then we got the rock because it's where it was birthed at. So wherever we take it, we don't want to forget where we was planted. Right. Don't want to forget where we came from. And then the love is what encompasses everything. So that's the I Rock Love. So we got the T-shirts, sweats, and from doing that, people was like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? So then birthed I Rock Customs. So we've done shirts for teams, events, businesses, wedding parties, volleyball teams, soccer, track. Yeah, so it's people just come asking me to do little things. So it's been good for businesses. Leon's Quality Cuts with the plug. Strictly Business. Understand? Yeah, Love Marriage Ministries. So, and with that, there's the like you were saying, like the professionalism. Like I like to deliver a quality product in a timely manner. So I give myself enough time to not overpromise. You feel me? So I could deliver it on time, and because people come back. Yeah. So I like being creative. I like doing it my way. I like doing it, leave my print like that. So that's what I got. That was a good question.
That was good, man.
That was a lot.
And there you have it, folks, Mr. Eric Franklin.
Okay, so Mr. Rashad, I want to know more about your media business, multimedia business. How did you get interested in it? How did it formulate it? How did you start in the business?
So with me, everything started multimedia design-wise. Everything started back in high school. So I had a period of time where I was supposed to graduate early. Just a quick backstory. I went to school in the city. I got shipped out to Rush Henrietta. Didn't want to go. I was ahead of the class, so I was supposed to graduate early. But apparently, the city school district was behind Rush Henrietta. I was ahead, so then when I got to Henrietta, they wouldn't let me graduate early. So I just had a bunch of free time my senior year. And instead of going home, I decided to help out in the graphic design classroom. So I was like the assistant teacher there. I worked on the yearbook, did a bunch of things there. I was the guy in Rochester who was known for making the MySpace websites back when that was popular. So that's how I got into coding and doing things for websites. And then I've just always been artistic all around the board, and everything just translated. So now I do multimedia design, graphic design, videos, websites, photography.
Okay, understood. So that was my next question for you, and I'm going to pass it over to Yolanda. With multimedia, I didn't know what format of multimedia that you did. So you do graphic design, web design, and videography?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Very interesting and very needed in the business industry. So I'm very happy to have known you and to really promote your business today. So I'm going to pass it over to Yolanda.
My question for you, Rashad, is I'm very impressed with the fact that you're only 28 years old and you're an entrepreneur. So my question is, what would you have to say or advice you would give to other young men your age that may be looking to start their own business or things like that?
I would say always keep working, because you never know who's paying attention to what you're doing and how many people look up to you in what you do. So even when you're having like difficult times or things are hard, always stay working. If you have nothing to do, even if it's at a regular job, but this translates to business as well. If you have nothing to do, find something to do. So for example, in my field, like videos and graphic design, if I don't have any work to do, then I can just go out somewhere and start shooting, figure out new ways to film something, or start trying to design a logo that maybe I haven't done before. Different things like that. Just always stay working, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come that's going to change your life.
That's very good advice. Thank you. With that, we'll be right back with Strictly Business.
Welcome back. So we just want to ask our fathers here today, what does it mean to you being a fatherpreneur? Being a father who owns a business, who has a family, some who work full-time jobs. What does this mean to you, and how can you encourage other people who are interested in being fatherpreneurs?
For me, it means a legacy. My oldest son, he comes down when I'm making shirts to watch me in action. Tried to press a little bit, but he don't got the strength yet. but he's coming. Little Eric, he tries to come down there as well. But just having something that I can give to them and put them to aspire to be or create their own thing, whichever way it goes. but for them to just realize that you can, do your own thing, be your own person, be your own boss. And you can also work as well in the transition from work to complete entrepreneurship can be seamless. It doesn't have to be drastic, and finding a balance between work, family, my wife, I gotta make that work, you understand me, got just finding a balance, and prayer does a lot. I'm trying to tell you because it be a lot of different things happening. You get so busy, you lose track of time, but you always gotta find time to pray. That's all I got.
I'm always, for me, legacy is huge. It's everything for me. The legacy of what we leave for our children is everything. I'm so thankful that I saw this YouTube video of Dame Dash. He's been interviewed at a radio station, and I mean, he said a ton of things, but this one thing re-sculpted my view, and he simply said, I hustle for my last name, not my first. And I live by that now. When he said that, it just changed everything. I'm like, regardless of whatever he had going on in the past or whatever, that right there was wisdom. And, so I've always been Todd E. photography, Todd E. media, Todd E. whatever. Not always, but I kind of dumped it onto my first name because it's a lot more leniency with me. I do a lot, and I try not to be a one-man band, but, I've had my own companies. And I taught my sons how to do it and everything, but I wanted to protect the name of the legacy of the companies, and because it's just me, and I don't want to, saying sometimes I can't deliver on time because it's just me and things like that. So I felt like people would be more forgiving of, oh, Picasso is very busy, as opposed to his organization, Picasso Incorporated. What are these imbeciles doing? That type of thing. So. That's why I changed it to Todd E. whatever, kind of put the blame on me, not on the visions that God gave me. But then after just letting what I heard that gentleman say, hustling for his last name, not his first, I was like, yo, all right, well, it's Elliott Legacy. So she started hashtagging Elliott Legacy, and then ultimately I relinquished the name. I just wear the shirt because it's the one I wear. But we're Elliott by design. We reformatted everything, and we're still in the process of restructuring it. I handed it off to my queen and said, "Baby, you do something with it." She said, "Well, we're gonna be Elliott by design," and that just encompasses everything. But the everything that we wanted to encompass is the legacy. So what I would share with any young person as a fatherpreneur, or any young man or older man that's trying to get into business and balance his family, is if it's not going to be beneficial for the entire team, be it your time, be it the finances, be it whatever, if your whole team can't go, then don't go. If I have to front on my wife in order to make $1 million, well, the $1 million just got to wait, because I'm not going to front on my wife. If I have to move to another city to gain opportunity against her better wishes, or against her will, against my family and what we have built together, if I got to do this, and she's like, that's not for us. She's like, let's figure it out. Let's do it a different way. If I take the initiative, like some men that I know in my family just decide to jump in, I'm going to go for the riches. And their children are adults now, and they're suffering. They're suffering inside because of it. So I made a conscious decision that I'm never, ever, ever going to run after the goal if I can't bring the prize with me. And that's just it.
Well, I guess I'll say legacy. Like, they both said legacy is everything. You want to see your kids flourish and grow, so you leave them something. My business is a barbershop. I have 2 girls. They don't necessarily have to cut hair, but if they want to cut hair, we have a barbershop for them. If not, they could also just carry the business. And, you know, when I'm long gone, they could just run it under that name, you know. So, yeah, legacy is really big for me, too. I talk to my older daughter all the time and, you know, try to help her figure things out at her young life. And, you know, it's tough. But, yeah, as a fatherpreneur, yeah, it's a balance too, you know, having to work and, you know, see your kids and spend time. It's tough, but you got to fit it all in some kind of way, and I do. So I'm blessed.
For me, it's, you know, like all of you said, it's about that legacy, leaving a legacy behind. And it's also very important for me to teach my daughter that she has options, that she does not have to stick to, you know, go to school, get a good job, you know, the American dream. So she sees me working all the time, and she's very excited about it. And she's doing things now, learning from me, like she's trying to have her own job over the summer. She's only 10 years old, but she's doing things like she wants to start a lemonade stand or sell some products. She wants to figure out a way to make her own money. So for me, it's just trying to keep that balance of the healthy balance of being a father and a wife, but also having a business, because I run my business on customer service. I'm like 100% customer service eccentric. It has to be top notch. And it can get complicated at times because, you know, like Todd here, I'm trying to do everything myself, but I just have to pray on things and remember that I have my wife and my daughter, and at the end of the day, like you said, you want to bring everyone up with you, not just go yourself. So I just try to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons and not just because there's a check involved.
Right. I think the common denominator across the board was legacy. You know, I have 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. And for my boys, I really want them, I'm so engaged and locked in with them because I want them to understand, you know, what it means to go out as a man and work hard and make your own way. But as I'm doing that, you know, I watch my daughter, who probably has more drive and, you know, inner hustle than the boys in the house, because she knows what she wants and she sees me and what I'm doing. So it also gives her that perspective of, you know, this is what I want when I do get older and get a husband. I want someone who's going to emulate my father, who's going to go out and work and take care of the family. But having a business, you know, on top of that, and have done multiple businesses, you know, you have to find, as you said, that healthy balance. And I think, you know, sometimes we get caught in the give and go. You know, my business, I have to make sure that it's thriving and that I'm doing the right thing. But we have to also remember, you know, and I have to remember that I'm not just a business owner, but I'm a father and I'm a husband. So, you know, you have to figure out all those healthy balances. And I think the advice that I would give is, you know, if you're going to do it, don't make it a moment. Don't make it a moment. You know, make it your movement. Because with that movement comes sacrifice. And when you're making that sacrifice and you're prayerful with it, then everything else will fall into place. And that's what's always worked for me, and it's worked for us.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back.
Welcome to Strictly Health with myself, Dr. Yvette Conyers, family nurse practitioner. So last week we had the opportunity to talk about National Men's Health Month, and we talked about being able or encouraging the women. What would you do to encourage your spouses or significant others to take better care of themselves? Today we're going to talk about two B's, blood pressures and barbecue. Now we all know it's barbecue season, right? It's barbecue season, but also as fatherpreneurs or dadpreneurs, you guys talked about being dads and also running businesses, which can be stressful, which can lead to elevated blood pressure. So I need a couple volunteers who wants to get their blood pressure checked today, and then we're going to go over some numbers, what those mean. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with Corey here. So blood pressure is really a measurement of the pressure or resistance against the arteries. There's some normals, there's some pre-hypertension or pre-high blood pressure, there's stage 1, stage 2, all these national guidelines that tell us when someone's blood pressure is too high. Stress can lead to blood pressure, lack of physical activity, hereditary, race and ethnicity, unfortunately. Men who identify as Black or from underrepresented groups can have higher blood pressures as well. So we're going to check to see what Corey's is today, and then I may have his wife stay on top of him just a little bit and make sure he's coming down. So I know it's hard to see, but I'm going to review his numbers in just a minute. So I just want you to relax. Thank you. I'm shaking. So Corey's blood pressure is 122/70, and I hope you're okay with me saying that on TV here. I'm good. All right. So I'm going to show you this. This is from the American Heart Association. This is what blood pressure readings are. So Corey, I said you were 120/70. Right. So based on that, elevated is 120 to 129 for elevated blood pressure. You were less than 80 for your diastolic blood pressure, which is the lower number. So normal for your lower number, your diastolic, and on the edge, right, of between normal and elevated for your top number. So no one can be really diagnosed with having high blood pressure unless you have 3 consecutive readings normally in a doctor's office. So just this one reading doesn't mean that you have blood pressure. It gives you a baseline as to where you are with your blood pressure, but it also is dependent on what's been going on that day. Have you been resting? Were you under stress? Did you just eat a whole bunch of salt from the barbecue food? You know, those type of things, okay? So I would say your blood pressure is pretty good at this point, okay? All right, good there. Who else we got? All right.
Stellar blood.
Todd, I'm gonna have you hold this for me. So we're gonna check Eric's blood pressure, founder of I Rock Love.
Talk about it.
And one thing to note is that obviously if someone's on, blood pressure medications, their blood pressure may be controlled. I didn't ask these gentlemen if they're on any hypertensive medications because at this point I don't need them to reveal their health history per se. But that is important to make sure you know if someone's on blood pressure medicines and if they took it for the day. So again, he's nice and relaxed. Gonna get a little tight on his arm. So for Mr. Eric here, I got 110/64. That's a good blood pressure. So I'm gonna have you look at your chart. Tell me what you got, what you're thinking there. He said, let him see.
110/, I'm good.
So he's considered normal according to the American Heart Association guidelines. All right, thank you, Todd. All right, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do Mr. Leon Jones, who I had a pleasure to introduce earlier, Leon Quality Cuts. I want to just take a plug for a minute and ask, have you heard of the Get It Done initiative?
I believe so.
Okay, anyone else heard of that? No? Have you hold it again? I'm sorry. So the Get It Done initiative is actually here in Rochester, where there are community health workers that go into barbershops and into beauty salons to actually work with the owners. And they also take blood pressures of the people who are getting their hair cut and who are getting their hair done. Because to be honest, that's when men spend a lot of quality time, talk about stuff, right? And what better way to be able for him to talk to his customers about blood pressure and health and things that matter to be able to make our individuals better, our families better, our communities better. All right. We'll do this arm. You can relax, yep. And your wife is in healthcare, isn't she?
She is.
All right.
She does what you do.
So again, he's nice and relaxed, feet, nice and flat there. And the also thing that matters is the blood pressure cuff size. So Leon here has, a little bit more muscular arms, unfortunately, than Corey and and Eric there. So he would need a larger blood pressure cuff. So I'm not going to do his blood pressure just to do it because I know it will be a little bit higher when you have a smaller blood pressure cuff. So we are not going to do Leon today because I don't want to give him a high false reading, right?
This is my bigger arm.
That's the big arm over there, so we're not going to do that. All right.
Travis.
I'm a lefty. Everybody got a bigger arm.
All right, so that was a quick overview of blood pressures real quick and hypertension. The other B that I want to talk about as I'm getting untangled here is barbecue, right? So we talked about barbecue season. We talked about last week trying to have healthier options. So I just want to mention to you guys some healthier options for barbecuing during this important season, or see what you think. Instead of meats, what could we do?
You just lost this whole panel. Right. You just lost the whole panel.
Instead of pork or beef, what can we grill?
Turkey, chicken, fish.
Some turkey, chicken, fish, some salmon, some chicken. Even if you do beef, maybe some lean beef or some grass-fed beef, okay? What about instead of our potato chips? What could we do? Come on,
popcorn.
Y'all. Popcorn, still a little salty, which can lead to blood pressure.
No, instead of potato chips,
carrots.
Yeah, you can do some vegetables. You can do some grilled vegetables, right? You can do some carrots, trail mix. You can do some grilled vegetables, some corn, corn. We were just talking about corn, right? Some carrots, some asparagus, whatever you want to try, you can do that. All right, so instead of our lovely ice cream, what could we do for dessert?
Angel food cake.
Angel food cake? Okay.
Yeah, with fruit in it.
With fruit? I would just say the fruit, actually. So we can just do some fruit. Yeah. Go ahead. What you want to do?
Yeah, fruit.
We could do some fruit.
I was going to say he lying. He lying.
Watermelon with seeds.
Some watermelon, okay. But also I just want to make sure you guys know as a tip with your stuff that has like mayonnaise in it and those dairy products, making sure that those stay refrigerated, right, or stay on ice. Not to leave them out in the sun so that no one gets sick from just having that dairy out in the sun for a long time. And then just making sure you take time to clean your grill, right? Every time you use your grill, go ahead and clean it. A lot of that stuff can just stick on the grill, so making sure you clean it to stay healthy. So again, trying to watch the salt, trying to do some lean meats or fish with grilling, trying to do some vegetables instead of your chips, and trying to do some fruit instead of your ice cream. So those are some barbecue tips, and those are the 2 B's for Strictly Health.
In honor of our fathers, we have a special Fatherpreneur segment with Roland Williams. Check it out.
My name is Roland Williams. I'm a proud entrepreneur. I actually have a host of business interests, but 2 that mean a lot to me is 1, I do team performance and leadership coaching for executives and businesses across the world. Very passionate about that. My company is called Football Mentality Professional Development. Get it? Football Mentality. But my passion project is something that means a lot more to me. I actually am involved in youth development space. I have a consulting company that comes up with innovative programming for at-risk teens. I'm a grant writer. I'm actually a fundraiser, and I just really take pride in making a difference. And one of our biggest initiatives is where I am today. the Champion Academy Extreme Mentoring and Empowerment Initiative. It's a pilot program that we've been working on here in Rochester and doing some amazing things. Someone told me a long time ago that you find your passions with a combination of what you love and what you hate. Somewhere in there in the middle is where your passions lie. And for me, growing up here in Rochester, born on a street called Genesee Street, which those who know it know that everything's not always easy and given to you there. I learned that there's things I don't like. Like I don't like poverty. I don't like seeing abuse. I don't like seeing neglect. I don't like seeing not just physical pain, but spiritual and mental pain on people that I care about. I traveled throughout my life, things that I love. I love to see success. I love to see people grow. I love to see individuals who historically have been slighted to have an opportunity to be somebody. And when I combined all those things in, it joined with my motivation. Entrepreneurship has affected my family in great ways and also challenging ways. I think from a positive perspective, my sons seeing that no matter what the color of our skin is, no matter what we've done in our past, we're allowed to set our own course and pursue our own dreams, our own vision. So my sons have a chance to see what it looks like to see a father that's a strong Black man, that's a CEO of a company that has amazing, hardworking staff, that's able to change, right? I think that's positive. I think that they have the ability to see firsthand some of the nuances that come with trying to build your vision and the adversity that comes with it and how you overcome it. I think those are amazing things. Hopefully, if I do it right, I'll build an amazing company that can be a legacy for them to take on long after my working days are over. So that's sort of the good thing. On the other side, the challenges with entrepreneurship means that sometimes it takes your most valuable asset, that's your time. And you can't be there for everything because sometimes you have to move at the speed of business. And sometimes it might be a client, it could be in a charitable space, a potential donor. You never know what the situation is. Sometimes it's not based off the schedule that I wanted to have. And so there's been a few times where those have collided and hit heads and my family life lost the game. And that's that part that's unsettling. But I try to do a good job of coaching my sons up and let them understand the big picture so they can understand that sometimes, temporary pain brings long-term gain. And hopefully over the course of my life, they've seen the fruits of these labors, with some of my business interests. They've seen that dad working hard to redefine himself in life after football has manifested itself into a different person they could be proud of. And so I think there's both sides of that, right? Of learning those lessons. Based off my old job playing in the NFL, I have multiple fears. One of my fears is to not let the pain of my past impact my future. I don't know, people know this well chronicled that when you play in the NFL, there's a physical residual that happens to your mind and to your body and all those things. But one of the things that was very challenging for me is the whole concussion thing and the damage to my brain and my body and how it impacts me on a day-to-day basis. Someone that's known for being so high energy and hardworking at everything I do, there's a daily change that I'm have to overcome every day. I have to lean on staff members and teammates and people more and more, and it's not easy. And I try to keep my swag, as y'all can see, but I think that my fear is that the longer I continue, the more the residuals of my physical damage impacts my day-to-day. And I'm afraid of what happens that day when I'm not able to function like closer to the normal role as possible. There's a threshold where I used to be at, 100% of me, but I'm afraid of the day where it get down to, So that's one of my biggest fears, I think is how my past is going to impact my future. The other one is me not maximizing my God-given potential. I think that we've all been given skills and things to do in our lives, and I'm like, I just want to maximize and do everything I can with what God has given me to be successful. I do things now, I'm big into prayer, big into yoga, doing things to just help me be the best me I can be. And with all my past and where I've come from and what I've been through in the NFL and all that type of stuff, yeah, I'm just afraid of not doing my best and fighting to stay positive and fighting to stay in tune with being the best me I can be, despite the challenges that I go through, right? So people say you don't have to own your disabilities. You don't have to own your challenges, right? And so I don't own the damages of the NFL. What I'm focused on is my future. And I'm focused on doing the best I can be as a father and an entrepreneur. And so it's not letting fear run you, is what I'm really trying to do. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, there's actually 5 keys. We call them the 5 mental muscles. You must develop these 5 mental muscles and flex them often. Ironically, these are the principles that I teach our students at the Champion Academy in our Extreme Mentoring program. The first one, we call it ultimate truth muscle. You need to get real with your ultimate truth. What's your passions? And are you interested in it, committed or fully committed? Because it's gonna require your full commitment to go to that next level. The second mental muscle, we call it unbreakable belief. Now, every entrepreneur, you hear it in the books, Inc. magazine, you hear all of that you're gonna have failures and you're gonna go ups and downs. That sounds well and good. Some young business professionals, some young entrepreneurs, as soon as there's any adversity, one thing don't go right, they wanna change their whole menu, question the whole thing they do, look down on people and run. That's scary. You gotta be able to believe just because things don't go linear. Nothing ever goes exactly linear. You better believe in your concept when other people got something to say. You better believe that what you're trying to do is gonna work even when you literally fail. Like the man who started Popeye's Chicken, y'all look it up. How many times he failed before he won. The third mental muscle is called conscious courage. The conscious courage muscle. Conscious to be aware. Courage to continue despite difficulty and pain and all that type of stuff. If you really want to be a successful entrepreneur, you better develop that conscious courage muscle. I'm giving you a lot right now. The fourth mental muscle, I hope y'all digging. I'm going in today. It's Father's Day. Come on, it's our time. The fourth one is called intentional teamwork. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you had better be very intentional about your desire to bring people, places, and things to help you accomplish that goal. Okay, you got your truth, you kept it real, your passions is aligned, you know what you want, you believe in it, you standing on it, you're making the courageous decisions every day that lead towards where you got to go. You're using teamwork, don't try to be an island going at your speed, reach out to expand yourself. Now the fifth mental muscle is called passionate perseverance. You see, if I told you that if you walking from here over around the corner going to Henrietta or something, headed to Pittsburgh, and when you get there, all your dreams is waiting for you, you're not gonna be walking sulking. You're gonna be walking with your head down. If I told you that 5 miles away from here, every single dream you ever had is right there waiting for you, just walk over there and go get it, you'd be in bliss. You'd be happy. The passionate perseverance mental muscle is the ability to keep your emotional state focused on where you're trying to go, even though it's going to take a minute to get there. So when you combine all those mental muscles, when you combine someone that has the ability to keep it 100 and give that ultimate truth, when you keep working on that muscle of unbreakable belief, when you work on conscious courage, you keeping it 100 with yourself, right? Making those right calls, intentional teamwork, and you combine that with passionate perseverance, that's a strong man, strong woman, and ridiculously strong entrepreneur. So if you ask me, what does it take to be a great fatherpreneur. I would say one is time management. If the requirements of both, they're unrelenting, they're real. And it's important that you do the best you can to maximize and squeeze every bit of the 8,600 seconds of a day into doing those two jobs, right? It's real. I couldn't be a single father without having a great support staff. I have an au pair. I have my mother who comes and gets involved. I work in conjunction, co-parenting, having teachers, educators, doing the best I can, the community of other families and fathers and mothers and, working together. So I would definitely say it's teamwork in that regard, and the same breath as an entrepreneur. I don't have a reference of being a father to sons living in a gated community, being one of a handful of people of color in a school, going to a private school that's $34,000. I don't have any frame of reference for the life that they're living, and I'm doing the best I can to deal with it. It's always gonna be challenges. I think a great fatherpreneur gotta learn how to hang in there. There's gonna be times people gonna say it ain't right, you failed. My son's made mistakes academically. I feel a type of way because I feel like I had something to do with him getting that D in French class, But we gotta hang in there, right? The mistakes my company make, I feel a type of way, right? But we gotta hang in there and have a good attitude as we pursue our journey.
It's been an amazing 6 weeks on our Strictly Business Talk Show. We thank you for joining us. And in honor of Father's Day, we have a special gift for our fathers. So we'd like to thank you guys for being here with us today. There you go.
Can they open it?
No. So, again, we would like to thank you for joining us on this journey. We're not gone forever. We'll still be around this summer with some special entrepreneur additions to our show, but we will be back with our Strictly Business Talk Show this fall. So we want to again thank you for joining us, and we'll see you this fall. Bye.